Maitake, or hen of the woods mushroom, is one of my favorite mushrooms. They're earthy, yet they have this sweet elegance, almost like a really old burgundy. They have contrasting textures and very complex flavors. Out of the expensive variety of mushrooms, this is by a mile my favorite. And I cook it quite differently to most mushrooms to really get the most out of it. First, the preparation. I don't like to separate them too much. I want to get to a point where the caps are almost on the crispy side, with most of their water content evaporated. Yet, the stem side remains on the juicier side, giving you this wonderful sweetness to contrast the earthiness of the caps. So this is how I would break them. I'm keeping the bottom quite chunky. If you're buying them and cooking them the next day, it's very important, particularly for this variety of mushrooms, to put some kitchen towel around them to absorb the excess moisture. Otherwise, they will become very watery, making them very hard to cook. The smell is so incredible. And for this variety, and for maitake, I never like to add herb or even aromatic vegetables. The complexity of flavors comes from within. Definitely keeping this. Now, to bring the best out of the maitake, we need to put the hen in the hen of the woods. I know it sounds silly, but for me, a bit of animal fat really activates all the flavors. Of course, if you want the vegetarian version, just use olive oil. But today, we're going to enlist the help of some chicken breast. This is corn-fed chicken breast, and we're simply going to sear and cook them to extract the beautiful oil that's under the skin. With that oil, we'll saute the maitake mushrooms. Hot stove. Beef fat also works incredibly well. Sometimes when I'm making a steak, I'll always buy some maitake to mop up the flavors from the beef while it's resting. But lamb and pork fat, for me, works less well with maitake. Once the pan is hot, high smoke point oil. In this case, refined olive oil. You might have noticed I'm using a non-stick skillet for chicken breast, which is normally not how I like to cook them. But with maitake, you really want a non-stick skillet, so the caps do not collapse with the moisture that's been released. Now, once the oil is slightly shimmering, chicken breast in. It's such common practice in the kitchen to use vegetables, fungi to flavor your meat. But today, the role's been reversed. We're using the meat to flavor the mushrooms. I'm adding more oil than needed to cook the chicken breast because I'm factoring in the oil that we need for that much mushroom. I'm using chicken breast because they cook quicker. If you use thigh, you kind of want to give time for the collagen to break down. Chicken wings is also a very good, cheaper alternative to this method. I'm cooking this mostly from the skin side, just because that's where the fat's going to render. I will season the chicken breast as well. No black pepper. It overpowers the elegance of the mushrooms. Beautiful, look at this. A bit of Maillard reaction, protein, fat, high heat, giving us more meaty flavor. Not just for the chicken, but later for the mushroom. Now, we're above 61, so the chicken is perfectly cooked. We take them out to rest. And now, we're gonna skim off half of the fat, and you'll soon see why. Perfect. Just enough to coat pan. And now, we bring up the heat. With maitake, it's extremely important to not crowd the pan. You're allowed to just form one layer, not with the size of the pan, but the size of the induction. You want everyone to get equal opportunity heating, because what you don't want is for them to release too much moisture. Once the moisture has collapsed the caps, there's no going back, unlike other mushrooms, so you have to be extremely careful. We add one to test the water. I'm happy with the sizzle. You measure the circle. As you can see, unlike my other sauté mushroom recipes, I'm not salting yet. I want most of the water to evaporate before I salt, so I do not create a pool of liquid that will collapse the caps. You can see the steam coming out. That's the water content evaporating. And I want the water content to only go this way, not that way. Now we move them around. Look at the caramelization at the bottom. Beautiful. Now, once there's not much steam coming out, we take out this first batch, and the chicken infused fat, they go back in. And if you don't have enough to coat the pan, you can always top up with a tiny bit of oil. In this case, we're good. So same thing again. You hear the sizzle, we go. And once again, we're not salting. We'll mix everything together at the end, then we season. Water content, up only. Once again, not much evaporation, they come out. And don't crowd them, try to form one layer while even resting them, just so they don't steam each other. Now, I miscalculated, so batch 3, a touch more oil. Now the rest, they go in. Perfect. While that's happening, we simply shred the chicken breast a bit, just following the muscle fibers. Tear the crispy skin apart. Perfect. Brilliant. They come out. With the residual fat, we simply add the chicken back in, so the whole dish becomes one. Now, everything in. Now we season for the first time. Perfect. Now we can plate. Oh, look at that. So beautiful. And that's it. Crispy caps, juicy stems. And just to demonstrate my point, even though this is extremely crispy on the outside, yeah? Look how juicy it is. Just look at this. Soft and juicy on the inside. It's incredible. And this is sautéed Maitake mushrooms. I really hope you enjoy.